Hello, everybody. I just want to let you know that this show, it started off a little what I would consider kind of starting with some bad news, and I just wanted to preface that because it's kind of hard to talk about some of the difficult things and just the things that keep happening that may seem really just unfortunate, and man, that sucks. I just really wanted to admit that. But I was very grateful that I could talk about a lot of things with Blarg, and I'm so happy and glad that I get to rebound ideas off of him, and then just listen to what he has to say about some stuff too, because it really helps me clear my head about things. And as the show went on, the conversation really got better and better, and I really do think that that was really special in the end, and I really did like the talk that we had. So this was a good episode, and I hope that you guys can get something out of it. So without further ado, oh babe, are you all hyped? You got your tea ready? You ready to get into it?
I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to get Ooh. It was.
Okay. I mean, yeah. Okay, we can start off with the banter and stuff again.
Oh my god.
But I'll admit, like, this week has been pretty blue. I mean, given that 2020 has been whatever this year, and I don't think that many people are really enjoying it anyway. I
don't think anyone was enjoying the previous years either.
I'd say I had a better
interesting.
I'd say I had a better 2018 and 19, to be totally honest. We could at least go places. But yeah, it was kind of all, it seemed like a lot of things were just kind of culminating and leading up to this point anyway, so here we are. I kind of wanted to start off the show, at least, with, I guess, I don't know if you consider, I guess you consider it breaking news, or just kind of somber, not too depressing news, but, Grant Imahara, one of the Mythbusters, recently passed away. And I've been starting to feel like it's just been sort of on the back of my mind for the past couple hours now, and I was wondering, like, what were your thoughts on that too?
I enjoyed watching Mythbusters and stuff like that, and I think he was a great influence. He also did First stuff. I haven't really watched into any of the or Adam's what is that channel called?
Oh, his YouTube channel is called Adam Savage's Cave.
Yeah.
I think it's called Tested. That's one of his big
Tested,
series.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tested, but I haven't really watched any of that. But it's kind of sad because he was one of those really big characters, especially in Mythbusters. Is like, one of the five main people on that show, essentially.
Yeah, he was really cool, and it's so funny because it doesn't seem that long ago, but like when Mythbusters was really popular back in the day and on cable, when I used to watch cable, I think we were around like in middle school. So it was thinking about that group and what they did and how many like fun times they had really made me think about my past in that way, about how like it was so cool watching them do all these experiments and blow stuff up, and it hit closer to home than I thought it would. Actually, it was kind of strange because you just think, oh, another celebrity or whatever, but they were really genuinely cool people.
I mean, we're all people. Eventually entropy will take us all.
Entropy, yeah, that day comes. Vote for giant. What was it? Giant meteor.
Yeah.
I like that bumper sticker. Where I think that was for the 2016 election. I think we gotta update that bumper sticker to 2020.
No, I think 2020 itself it doesn't need a comment. It already is the.
It's already a crater. It's sucking in everything.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my god.
I know, right? It's I don't know. It's just such a clown show everywhere, and in a way though, it does make me optimistic because it's like, oh, okay, here we are in like this filter, and all of this like crap people and stuff is rising to the surface, and then that's like kind of what saturates all the media and stuff. I mean, I guess that's what it usually is, right?
At the same token, too, you gotta like take a step back and maybe look how, because I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical on like all and like
skeptical of what?
just like what is all crap. Like there's people there is bad people, and you know it's good to point them out and stuff like that. But you know, there's still times to be a little skeptical.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess when it comes to handling yourself on social media and stuff, especially like if I'm just trying to have,
I guess that's what I was really meaning. Yeah, that's what I was really meaning. Like social media makes it really hard to really like figure out the true story to see how crappy a person is, because sometimes it can like make them really crappy when in actuality like they're really not that bad. I'm not saying that you know they're a better person or anything, but it's like you know sometimes you can make somebody way better than they really are, or way worse than they really are.
yeah, it does tend to have that effect when you have the spotlight on you for various reasons and nobody knows anything concrete besides the people involved. So when you make this kind of blown up public event, it's like, well, what do I believe? And I think we kind of touched that on that topic just the end of the last show where you get these, you remember, like you get these highlighted bits and that's all you really have of whatever argument or case that you have when you're trying to figure out what actually happened or what the case is actually. So it's really hard to just stay true, I think, and then get true news and information without picking a side and then getting all tribal on everybody.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit on the person too to kind of like see past it and have that healthy dose of skepticism, where it's just like, oh, like how true is it to all that stuff? Like the coronavirus is kind of an example. Like,
Oh, how
like
so?
like some people would argue like, oh, we're not doing that bad because we don't have that many deaths or whatnot. But it's like, well, at the same time, it's like, well, what's our testing like? What's the what's our hospital utilization status right now? Like, is it really high? And the virus doesn't kill you immediately, so like having more people sick, could equate to more people dying sooner. You know, that kind of thing. Like, so like, what is a good way to judge where we're at? Because there's people that recovered, and I don't know whether or not they figured out that you can get resurgence of the disease or something. I forget.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like transparency goes, it seems like nobody knows nothing, and the only facts that I have to rely upon are basically the statements the governor gives out every month to give me the numbers of cases that are at least reported,
Yeah.
and then that are documented. So that's what I've been relying on in terms of like numerical data. Everything else is kind of just hearsay and what you feel. But I mean, to quickly recap though, I do like wish Grant Imahara's family and stuff my condolences, and everyone who feels for him and whatnot. I hope they're all well, first of all, in such a really trying time. I mean, I know that's been said and again, but yeah, I just
I really hope they do all right and stuff.
I've even been like watching all these.
Still super young. It's kind of just out of the blue.
Yeah, it was a brain hemorrhage, I believe.
Out of the blue.
And he was only 49. So that really does go to show that it's sometimes freak stuff just happens, and it seems like this year was just an entire accident, because I guess what you consider an accident is just a series of a lot of unfortunate events one after another. So yeah, it's just really tough. And I guess, yeah, related to the COVID news though, we did have this one, I threw in one of these articles about, it's so dumb. Florida emerges as world's new epicenter of COVID-19. And notice how they said world, not just America.
I mean, so what's the actual numbers for it though?
Let's see. I'm going to try
What
and
are they comparing it off of?
As of July 30th, on Wednesday, Florida reported nearly 10,000 new cases, and there are nearly 220,500 positive cases statewide. Yeah, go America. We're basically leading the the high score, the charge for most cases, actually. But I did hear some really awesome news, at least for some time, being perpetuated from the way that New Zealand has been handling their borders and how they've basically shut down, but they're actually reopening a lot of their services and restaurants now, and they're getting back to normalcy. Well, besides the whole not letting anybody in, obviously, but that is definitely what I saw like in a tweet a while ago. They quoted like, "This is what winning looks like," and that was so cool. Like, I hope a lot of other people take close notes and attention to what they're doing, because if anything, I don't want to shame any other country or state or governor or whatever. It's like, just pay attention to what these people that are making things work, what they're doing, and implement that.
Yeah.
Because even like, there's still no cure. There's nothing really, again, like concrete about what the treatments are, other than like, I heard even on a few podcasts, like, people don't emphasize enough that immunity and your general health is really important to keep up. So if you maintain a solid level of intaking vitamins, I heard vitamin D is very potent and useful for managing the virus. A few doctors on other podcasts have had like lengthy interviews on at least inklings of trying to understand how to at least equip your body before, going out, and before tackling all these other diseases and illnesses that are basically surrounding COVID. Even though we have nothing concrete, it's a step in the right direction, and I think that is not highlighted enough. Yeah, we should take care of your body and like make sure we're just generally healthy and take your vitamins. That was the main message I was hearing from a lot of different sites that just somehow didn't permeate the social media or the news that I've seen so far.
Again, it's like, we just gotta keep staying informed and just keeping an ear to the research and stuff like that, because it's gonna change, and then we kind of have to embrace the change a little bit too, because it's all developing news.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It could be like, oh yeah, we thought about it, we thought it was this, but it's actually this. And some people are upset, like, if it completely is a complete change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely won't be living like the way we have normally. I think that's totally understood. I mean, at least between me and you. But I've been seeing all these other just odd cases of people like still refusing to wear masks, and that seems to be another kind of controversy about
so
their freedoms,
So that one's weird, because there's like a couple of views you can take it. So like, there's one where it's like you can view it as more of they're a consenting adult. They, what, we've told you what the policies are, but understand the consequences. If a business requires you to wear a mask and you decide not to, they have all the right to not serve you.
Exactly.
And it's like, go ahead. And so, reading the consequences. But a counter to that is like, well, what about, the general populace? You got all these people not wearing masks around here, and you could say that they're putting an endangerment to the populace.
Yeah.
They're just going out willy-nilly, while other people are like, wearing a mask and trying to be as safe as possible. And that seems very unjust in some ways.
I think so.
Weird area. Yeah, it's kind of this weird area. It's like, well, yeah, they have their own freedoms and say and whatever they want to do, blah blah blah. But it's also like, at the same time, it's like, well, you're also putting an endangerment to all these other people. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of ways to like look. There's a few ways to look at it, and how do we go about upholding either one?
Like, for the most part, I personally haven't met anybody who has had COVID either, and that isn't like an argument to say like, well, if I haven't met anybody, then I guess I'm safe and everyone around me is safe. That's some contact tracing right there. But it's still about the greater good, right? Even if nobody in your entire neighborhood has the virus, it's like still good practice, and I think it sometimes comes down to morality. and like it really shows like what kind of character people have, what they are in times of crisis like this, and how willing they are to, you know, sacrifice a little bit of comfort for the betterment of everyone around them. That's like I think it's definitely a test, and it's a show of character, and it's like, oh, this is like the where you get this filter that I mentioned a little bit earlier, where it's like you're seeing the people kind of rise to the top that are kind of beholden to like good or bad judgment. That's yeah. I mean, I really want to get through all this kind of like crappy news. I'm sorry, guys. But it's still stuff that's like relevant, and I still want to cover it and not necessarily be silent about certain topics that's even a little touchy or something, just because I want to be transparent about a lot of things that are happening, you know, that are topical. Even on Twitter, I would say I personally reserve a lot of judgment. Like I won't tweet about a lot of things that are current events other than like what I post, like for, you know, like personal doodles and stuff that you guys have seen from me before. But like engaging again with the social media is a really tricky battleground. It's like the Twitter war zone. I wouldn't.
Yeah, side note,
What's up?
maybe I'm like miscontext on like what was it like the hashtag no follower artist or something.
Oh, nobody artist. Yeah, that's been going around for I think like the past week or two now.
So I wanna highlight that. What constitute as like a large artist?
It's
so some people are like, oh yeah, you know, 7K, and it's kind of like, and you know, other people are like, well, no, if it's less than 200, and it's like, well, there isn't really a definitive number though, and I think this kind of highlights the point that you mentioned before too, where it's just like, just do art, and maybe I'm missing the context of like the concern or like the concern of that hashtag, but at the same time, like, just use the hashtag and put your art out there and just keep doing art. It's going to be a slow beginning, but keep doing art, keep improving, and just keep at it. And, you know, other people, it can be exponential.
Yeah. I mean,
Markiplier didn't end up with, you know, how many million he has. PewDiePie didn't end up with million, or essentially YouTube, in a day.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, like, completely, because the one thing that I see this kind of going down two ways, and how it's useful, and it's sort of, I see it self-deprecating in a way, because when you use that hashtag, nobody artist or anything, you're admitting to yourself that you are only worth, like, your follower count, or whatever arbitrary measure of worth you're given based on, again, like, you know, like what people think of you. And yeah, that's totally BS. But it's definitely a motivator in a way, where it's like, to put yourself out there is really hard, and to then gain confidence in yourself and know that the people that like your stuff that you're sharing is worth, you know, your salt in your own skill, is like a whole nother level of like confidence. So I don't think that people should use that hashtag as a way of like actually valuing yourself or gauging your self-worth in the art sphere. Use it as a tool, because I'll fully disclose, like I found recently a handful of artists that I was looking at their portfolios that they were submitting through the hashtag, and I was like, what the, like, how do these people not have 1 billion followers, you know? And then that's the portion that really got my attention, where it's like, oh, I'm sort of grateful that this hashtag exists, because I wouldn't have seen this artist otherwise, you know.
And I think maybe that's where the gripe is where, you know, or this arbitrary numbered limit, is in place, but it's kind of arbitrary. It's not really set in stone. Because what if it's what's a Blizzard artist actually?
I know a recent one. I don't know if he's a part of Blizzard, but he was one that was dropping some freaking baller furry related art, and his name was Neskane. I think that's right. Neskane, Neskkaine or whatever. But he's super cool, and I love his art. He's like really, really talented, and you can see his skill level is really high. But he did a couple of like lewd and just regular like super cool like thick anthropomorphic like furry art, and they were like super big buffy like werewolf dudes, and everyone loved it in the community. He recently, I think about a year or two ago, picked up a job. I think it was for Blizzard or something, some video game company.
I guess the point I was getting at is just like,
What was that?
I guess I couldn't, and it could be just because I'm not looking into the hashtag too much, and that's kind of like from an outside perspective, just seeing it like crop up is like it's not really the definitive number, and just do art and just like use that as a tool to put yourself out there, not to, yeah, like you mentioned, like value. I guess
put your work out there.
Yeah, like just put your work out there and let others, put value to it and watch you grow or whatnot to their liking, not something that is like, competing with others.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, yeah, you touched on a really like
so there's like there's friendly competition and
yes,
this competition, but there's also competition in a community, and it can be healthy or unhealthy, and like to go at each other is kind of unhealthy in a community sense.
That's really true, because I think when you view other people as competition, in a way, if that's motivating, that's cool. That you can stick with that as long as you want. You might even do better and improve because you find that valuable to sort of strive to be better than other people. And I'll admit, I have a little bit of that kind of like go-getter attitude, and I can vibe with that. But yeah, you don't really want to view other people as competition in a way where it's like you're not willing to at least have friends along the way too. It can be really hard to kind of shoulder that burden, at least in my opinion.
Key to like just watch yourself is like not to like compare yourself, but like view like yeah, I guess you have to kind of change the angle, because you don't want to compare yourself so harshly to where
yeah. Would you say that's sort of victimizing yourself, where it's like, boo-hoo, I'm not popular, I'm not?
Okay, so I mean, if you do it in that sense, it can be kind of victimizing. But what I mean is, like, if you compare yourself to others that are like super successful, like super harsh to the point where you like kind of lose self-esteem.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
You need to find a fine balance between like, like, oh, this is somebody that I look up to, and like really, either like their style or like the way they handle their pieces of work and stuff like that, and view in a way that's a very positive action. Because when it starts going into negative action, maybe you take a step back and like do something for yourself and look at what you have done and where you came from. It's like kind of reminder. It's like, oh yeah, like this is way better than it was before, and like seek to continue to do improvement. So, don't compare to
like your inspirations all the time.
Yeah, don't compare it to others, but use them as a tool to like learn from and to like grow, I guess. I don't know. There was probably a better wording for that, but
No, I totally got that message, because something that I learned, from my like 4 years of trying to get better at art, still trying, when I heard this broken down by like Jordan Peterson before, and it's where when you have your judgments so incredibly high that you feel like you'll never be able to reach them, it's really crushing. So your judgments, because you care about something, often can hinder you or can hurt you personally, and that's a really rough challenge to, yeah, like you said, find that balance. So it's a real kick in the pants. Like it really makes you humbled every once in a while, where it's like, damn, I don't know anything. Even though you look back at all your years of work, and it's like, no, I've come a long way actually. Like that's something to be proud of and beholden to.
Yeah.
But I can go into art talk and like personal growth for hours on end. But
and like another thing too, like with this podcast, or besides these tree bark, I guess what is this segment?
I don't really know what I've been calling it.
Like,
I kind of call it weeklies because it's still weekly content.
Okay, so for so not for the weeklies, but the actual creator content section of TreeBark, and that's what it that kind of what it's supposed to be, is kind of like a way to like see what it's like to be those artists from all those different backgrounds doing all these different stuff. And like I kind of ask them the basic question of, where they get started, and even what helped them along the way, like just to learn all these different backgrounds. And if in some ways maybe that's like the best way to combat comparison, is actually like being able to find those people to talk to and figure out where they started from.
Yeah, I don't,
like even maybe get a mentor along the way from one of them, or just keep a bunch of notes about them.
Oh, would you take me under your wing to help me fly?
Some people don't mind mentoring.
Yeah, that's a huge undertaking too.
Like especially on like certain jobs that are very complex, just mentoring in general is like probably one of the best tools for people, because and especially if you have a really good mentor, like even you can learn from bad mentors too, if you can recognize it. But like good mentors can provide so much information and like lead you in the path to success, or at least lead you to the water to drink from.
Yeah, and I think that's something.
Ask for advice.
I think that's something that's so like undervalued, at least in this day and age, from what I've seen, where it's like you think about the great artists and like great minds of like the past of like Da Vinci and Galileo or anything like that. They probably had a mentor. They had somebody who they could like stand on the shoulders of, and then their legacy is history. And it I don't know if you can, I guess college and other forms of like trades and stuff do help with that, but I was thinking of like that kind of archaic style of, I'm gonna have one person and they're gonna be like my go-to figure for learning this craft, and we're gonna spend hours together in a workshop, and we're gonna just focus on like crafting marble or something, and it's like that's like the kind of like craftsmanship level of like dedication I like to see. But I don't really know if that's viable for like this day and age for every single person.
I mean, it depends on person to person. Not everyone needs a mentor, and they do fine without one. And then other people are like keeping an open mind to having a mentor and succeed well with it. So it's just based on people's needs, because everyone has different levels of needs and like what would help them out the most. Everyone has different learning styles also.
Yeah, and that's what's, I guess another tangent, like what schools would have trouble with handling, because if you have a classroom of 30 to 40 people, how are you going to take care of each individual's needs? And instead of, you're going to blanket teach, you're going to have one lesson, and then that should just apply to everybody, one size fits all kind of motto. And I guess that's always been a very hard challenge for a lot of institutes. I've been personally thinking about like, well, what's the best resource? We have the internet, like past figures in like 100 years ago never had that resource before.
Well, the thing with the internet is like it is a grand tool. So is our the phones that allow us to access it. Just the internet of things in general.
Mm-hmm.
The thing aware of it is there's a lot of I could call it white noise essentially, and that's going to have to be a teaching also. It's like, how do you avoid all this white noise or manipulation, and like figure out where to actually get your data from.
I found that
good calls and stuff like that, because you can get anywhere. You can even get the wildest like information and could claim that's true, even though there's other information that is says that no, that's ridiculous.
Don't you wish that there was I mean, I only had like high school and a few years of college experience, but I don't know if there were any lessons or classes that was like, okay, this class is dedicated to sorting BS and like validating information, and I guess that comes down to citing sources and whatnot, like I've done before.
Yeah, I think that might stem from a little bit of like college writing classes.
Mm-hmm. And when you do
They're the ones
research
that,
papers and stuff, you can look for valid resources, secondary sources, and whatnot.
yeah, and like all the other classes will help out in that. But yeah, the like I think right English 101 is supposed to give you the basic layout of whatever particular freaking research or paper writing that they want to use in school.
Even with that kind of like help, like don't you feel like the internet as a whole is really still, even though we're refining and we're still getting more polished websites and social media, it still very much feels like maybe not 4chan level of like anonymity and randomness, but the internet is still pretty much the Wild West. What do you think about like the whole I guess database as a general whole, like for reference?
It's interesting. I don't know. There's just so much about the internet that can be used from it that it's just kind of all over the place.
I would personally like, just to tie it to a personal example and use case, when I first started looking at art and wanting to say like, hey, I want to get better at this thing, I was already out of college. I only had a couple of years of art experience from high school, and none of that helped me. I took ceramics in college. I don't know why the heck I did that. But basically no fundamental understanding. And then through Twitter, I found one artist, I'm sure a lot of furries know him. He goes by Kihu. I believe that's his regular username, or Kihu Club. He's another artist on Twitter. And he just recommended, he got some people asking like, oh, what did you learn from? And then he started off with just basic head proportions, and that's how I got recommended the Andrew Loomis figure drawing book. And that one book stemmed a whole bunch of purchases of other textbooks without any recommendation. That was just me trying to learn more on my own. So having the internet as a resource, when I think this is the sort of caveat, you have to sift through that white noise when you know what you're interested in. And then that reduces the amount of just flurry of information to at least focus in on what you want to get better at. And
Yeah.
that was never exclusively taught to me in any school. And that's what I had to just learn on my own and keep falling on my face time after time for. So yeah, the internet is crazy. It's a double-edged sword, because it's, as much as you want to get into like the luxurious like entertainment value of the internet, you can waste multiple lifetimes online on YouTube videos.
More than lifetimes. I'm pretty sure the internet already filled up.
What is it, like the human? I don't know. I heard something like the human brain has like 4 petabytes or something of storage, given all of our neurons or whatever. I totally got that wrong, but it's pretty massive, but it's not limitless. And yeah, we've got way more content out there than you'll ever be able to consume, so just keep that in mind.
There's way more content that's ever visible because of like darknet and like the portion of the internet that's not really public.
I'm so I know I'm so naive to that. What is the dark web? What is considered the dark web?
You'd have to look that one up.
You know what? I will look up the definition right now. Dark web.
But it's there's.
Let's see. Okay, so Google defines it as a noun. Dark web is the part of the World Wide Web that is only accessible by means of special software, allowing users and website operators to remain anonymous or untraceable. So it's just an anonymity-related search engine, I guess. Is the dark web illegal? Oh boy. I guess it's just a way of probably doing very shady things, hence dark web stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
there's like portions that are like unseen, and then there's public, and then you got other websites and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just ridiculously massive.
yeah. What if you could? Oh man, I can't wait for the day for VR chat to be the equivalent of like looking at the internet in person. That'd be wild. The internet market of places.
And it kind of is a little bit.
Getting there, that's for sure.
Yeah, we are.
on other, I guess, I don't know. Do you want to? Oh, I guess, how did we structure it before? We had a video game related news and content. What was that?
No, just giggling a little bit.
At what? What did I say?
The structure.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't want to lament
things, and then moving on to other news stuff. There's quite a few news articles that are semi-interesting.
I mean, my transitions are, so smooth. I just kind of wanted to get over the. I just wanted to get over the really kind of negative stuff that, I still want to talk about the real stuff that's happening, but oh man, it sometimes just makes me so blue. Keep some levity and stuff.
Dabba die.
Oh great.
I got you. No, it's the game section.
Yeah, it can be. If you like. The only game that I have any like brain cells left to do besides VR chat and whatnot is Ori and the Blind Forest. I think it's like a 2014 game. I don't know when it came out, but I recently picked it up on Switch and it's really good. It's really pretty. It's a platformer, 2D side scroller that's I guess some would call it slightly Metroidvania. And upcoming later, we have actually a review from Hattie. He was very excited and has high-end energy in his upcoming review, so stay tuned.
Hey, so it's me. Today we're gonna talk about Ori 2, Will of the Wisps. It's a kind of Metroidvania style game that's pretty. I think both the combat and the platforming is really good. There's a bunch of improvements over the first one, like the game just auto-saves instead of having just annoying save points, which works in some games like Symphony of the Night or Bloodstained, but so in this game, which has more involved platforming. Combat's pretty good. Any game that shows damage numbers is good. There's lots of good porn of the main character. There's an artist called Warden something, I think it's Warden 2007. They just draw a shit ton of Ori as a dude screwing Fidget from Dust as a dude, and it's really great. Okay, bye-bye.
So yeah, there was that. I've been thoroughly enjoying Ori so far. I've played about like an hour into the game and beat the first main stage, and I'm moving on to the next world. So if you love good music and really touching and very cute characters, by all means play Ori. Have there been any more games that you've been into? I know you just recently repurchased Death Stranding for PC now.
I'm a little bit of a fanboy. So I'll still preface it. Yeah, the gameplay is kind of a little dorky. Like, yes, you're delivering packages, but I really thoroughly enjoy the story and what it represents.
You're pizza boy.
Yeah, I'm a yeet Stranding. Just throw shit all the time.
So did you fully beat it on the PS4 when it first came out?
I think I was like 80% there.
What was the reason for picking it up on PC? Is there like graphic fidelity improvements?
No. Yeah.
A little bit? Higher
the game.
Higher FPS, I would imagine?
Yeah, so all the FPSs are higher except the cinema. The cinema's capped at 60, but that's kind of normal for a lot of games, I guess. Well, I mean, that used to be kind of normal for a lot of games where they, capped at 60, kind of like what Halo did.
Are cinema scenes like the in-game graphics or different pre-rendered cutscenes?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I didn't think about that. I don't know. I would like to think there
Because I would
because
think,
we've kind of gotten to a point where like the game graphics are really good that you can use it for.
yeah, we've come a long way from like Pong. That's for sure. It's almost indistinguishable from real life sometimes.
Yeah, so like just having all those like cinemas that are in-game cutscenes are pretty crazy, and I think that's super cool that we're able to do that and have that much fidelity.
They even had that. I recall a couple weeks ago, or even a month ago, there was a Unity 5 engine demo where they had like really ultra photorealistic graphics. Was that on PS5 actually?
What's that? No, was that? Are you talking about Unity or Unreal?
Oh, sorry, it was Unreal Engine. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
And
Unreal has really good stuff going too.
is when they have that type of engine set up, I know nothing about that type of stuff. So like, if you could enlighten me, like when people are optimizing that type of software or that type of platform for games, is it that it runs more efficiently on hardware, like existing hardware, or is it something that newer hardware, like the new 2080 or the new 3080 Ti graphics card, is going to be able to take advantage of?
I'm no game engine engineer, and I'm not really familiar in that realm of work, so I don't have an answer or like an educated answer for that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's super technical, and I would love to talk to maybe like one of your friends or a software engineer sometime, because I mean I do like.
I don't know if I have anybody that's
super into the really technical side of the nitty gritty computer game
like
stuff.
the game, or no, like the game developers. I don't think I know any game developers as far as I know.
Yeah.
Maybe that I recognize as a game or remember as a game developer. I don't recall.
Yeah. That's okay. I would imagine that definitely though, as time goes on, the graphics are just gonna improve and improve until we hit the singularity, and it's like, oh, life is a simulation. I don't know what my purpose and meaning is anymore.
Hey babe, we're gonna get VR in the Matrix, don't worry.
Oh yeah, I wanted to mention this too. I don't know if anybody else out there has had this syndrome. One of our other friends did, but when I talked to you about this already before when you showed me. But so when I first got into VR on, I think it was Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, I think that was the game. So I was on Blarg's Valve Index, and he first got Alyx and beat the game in like a day, and then I was gonna try it a little bit. So. So, I mean, that's how you can tell it's a really good game. And it really is. It's really fantastic, and it's super well polished for a VR game. It set the new standard for all of VR games, as far as I'm aware. But when I got into the world and I was picking up some things and I was doing some actions and playing around with the gun, shooting some of those head crabs, when I stepped out of VR, the whole experience still kind of continued when I didn't have the headset on. So when I was looking at my hands in front of me, I was like, these aren't my hands. It felt like some kind of like weird phantom limb syndrome. And didn't Bluey actually have that feeling for a little bit?
Yeah, I think he did. When he was playing VR, he kind of had the weird phantom limb stuff going on. And it was just like,
Have you never experienced that though?
No, I don't know. I like to think that I have a good sense of reality.
Wow. Okay. It was just so trippy, and like it was unlike anything that I've ever felt before. Where it's like this, like I could touch my hand.
I don't know. It just kind of amazes me that you guys had that kind of feeling.
Because it was the one-to-one nature. Like there's a difference between having a Wii remote in your hand with a ball as an avatar when you're like Wii U bowling or whatever. But like having the remote.
Well, I mean, that isn't strapped to your face and you're not looking at the ball in 3D.
Yeah, it's a whole different level. Like we're talking about finger tracking on the controller when it like has that sleeve that just hangs on your hand so you don't even have to grip it all the time. I think that's what threw me off. So when you see your fingers being manipulated like digit by digit and seeing it contract, and you can like stick the middle finger if you wanted, or you can do like a shaka or like the rock on symbol and stuff. Like it's just so good. And that's what's so scary sometimes. But yeah, I feel like I keep dipping into VR because it's getting more and more relevant as time goes on. So yeah, that's been good stuff. I don't know if you want to linger on that too much longer.
No, I mean, VR is a really interesting experience, and it's a good time, and you can get lost into it if you stay in it for a while, and then you come out of it and you're like, wow, that was an experience.
That's kind of what I was like. I don't want to dip it and relate it into like, oh man, that's just escapism or whatever. Like, oh, the kids, they're just, like whenever something new was invented, it's like, oh man, the kids, they can't get off of the radio, they just invented it, and like, oh my gosh, they're gonna stop reading. And then yeah, the TV you invented, it's like, oh man, they're not gonna pay attention anymore. And then when video games came into the scene, it's like, oh man, nobody's gonna look at each other on the bus, and like, well,
video games cause violence, babe.
Yeah,
clearly.
I mean, yeah, it's that Tetris gets my blood boiling.
When I play VR chat, I'm just gonna stab somebody immediately.
I also heard that that's why we have sports and games in general as a species, because it's like a simulation of war that we all kind of like get our angst out in, and you even form tribes and you form teams.
That's an interesting thought. I'm kind of curious.
No, you can probably look up a lot of articles on that, but yeah, I've definitely heard it more than once on occasion, like through some articles and some science breakdowns and stuff through YouTube, where we humans, we simulate games since ancient Roman times, in the Colosseum, where we want to see things play out and battle to the death, even if nobody's actually dying in this case, you just have a team that either wins or loses after all of these challenges of like throwing your best soldiers, your best NFL players, your quarterback and whatnot. All of these things like lead up to a point of where something breaks, and then you have a victor and a loser. And that's what people are so hyped for. We have this like innate need to, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of like those facts and whatnot, but like, yeah, there's just generally that drive to just have a simulated fight, and that's really engaging and it's enjoying and it gets people motivated. And like, I think it translates across all of these different platforms for games, video games, role playing. All of these things are really tied into our really like lizard brain natures and like primal, like platitudes. It's crazy and it's super fascinating too. I always love getting into like any more info I can get in about that type of stuff. But as far as kind of dialing back, as far as video games and stuff, I've just been focusing on one game at a time, a little bit of VR chat here and there to hang out with the Bay. And then
do a podcast in VRC.
I really want to do that. One day I will have a virtual room scanned based off of our real room, or
we can go find one of those VR chat worlds to.
Do they have booths of like microphones?
I think they do. If you looked at Pika Petey when he made that parody on Joe Rogan,
and then that one Shiba shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That'd be really cool. I don't know. I guess I would want like more of a. I wonder if I'm sure there are environment creators too that you could probably commission in VR, because we both got commissioned models of our Sonas, so that was really cool. I don't know if we talked about that actually, but yeah, we both Blarg and I, we have our own virtual fursuits essentially, and they're really cute. And shout outs to Red Wolfie. You can find him on Twitter. He's really cool. Really good artist. And then what was it? So in VR, I guess maybe we could do an episode that'll actually be streamed from the in-game cameras. We could do an episode like that.
Be interesting. Or you could set up a stream camera and make it look like it's set up or something. You just don't move your character too much.
Yeah, I think you can. Can you set up multiple cameras? I think you can, right? Like up to 3.
I don't have an answer for you on that one. We'd have to look that up. But anyways.
Yeah, I think you can. And then they're like little dots. And then all you really need is like, because there's no in-game recorder, you can do a stream to your PC and then capture the footage through your PC. So that's a quick way to do it. Definitely in the pipeline sometime. As far as other news and stuff, I don't think that we really have much to cover other than some dank memes. If you want to start with that.
Which dank memes do we got today?
Did you want to start off with the dog one? The little animation.
It's not really a dank meme though. It's a cute animation.
It's a cute animation. It's on Twitter. It's by Small Boo Animation.
Yeah, and it's kind of like this adult talking to a kid, and it's in the form of just a big dog talking to their pup.
Here, I can play a snippet of it. I think it'll record on my end, but I'm not sure if it'll come through for you. So we can test that right now, actually. So let's get this going. Okay, it's playing on.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing today?
I do alright.
Can you tell me about that? Mm-hmm. Wait, are you a lion?
A lion.
You're a lion. That's not what I. Oh. Oh my gosh.
So, I don't know if you wanted to give the rundown or the explanation.
So, pretty much it's just like this really... It's just a super cute animation, and it's just kind of like one of those really, like, kiddish conversations where you'd, like, have a somewhat logical conversation with a kid, and, you know, they highlight to specific words, and it's just kind of just cute in general.
Yeah, they're like they're animated.
Plays out.
Yeah, they're animated as 2 little doggies, and it's really adorable. They're like little doggies imposed on the real life background with real life audio, I guess, from their real lives.
Something, but it's just overly adorable.
Yeah, it'll definitely melt your heart. Oh my gosh. What else will be melting your heart? I don't know. I mean, okay, I'm kind of torn on this meme, but the cake meme that's been kind of taking over the internet, where everything is cake.
I love it.
It's kind of.
But I love it.
It is definitely some chaotic, evil energy vibing right there.
Hey, babe, are you cake?
Don't.
Can I launch on you? Will you taste like cake?
I made that tweet where it's like the only cake I want to see on my timeline better be real thick, juicy, furry ass.
I mean, that's definitely a good cake, but like, can you cut it? Will it be cake?
You can definitely eat it. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw this one meme where this dude was just watching all these cake videos and like everything getting cut, and then and then he looks over at his pillow and he starts freaking out and he starts squeezing it, and then he like puts his hand on the screen and there's cake on his hand.
Yeah, everything turns out to be cake from his realization, and then there's this like super dramatic music building up as he slowly starts to see everything turn to cake, and then he grabs his own ass and then it's cake.
Oh my god.
Then he took a huge bite. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. And it's so funny that this meme also kind of relates to this other cutting of like what's with food and then just people cutting it and then like it being really weird. There's a Food Insider clip on Twitter and it shows this what looks to be like a honey glazed roasted ham, and it looks so damn delicious, but it's watermelon. And
watermelon would probably still taste hella delicious, not gonna lie.
I know it's so. I think it just throws me off because it has that deceptive nature about it, where it's like, oh, it's a thing that I didn't think it was, but it is. And
Like,
I
I would
thought
put my face into that. I would cut
You-
off the little slice of that watermelon and then take the bigger portion.
Did you say you put your face into that?
Yeah, I'd put my face into that watermelon.
It looks so squishy. Like it doesn't even look like watermelon meat. And if you didn't tell me that it was watermelon, I wouldn't have believed you.
Until you taste it in your mouth.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and I guess that's what the appeal is for that type of food, right? Because it looks like meat, but it's like it looks like it has like that marbly texture in the meat, and you cut it, it looks like it folds over like meat. It's so crazy, but yeah, it's definitely not meat. The person who ate
It's
it,
a cake.
yeah, no, it better no. I don't even like regular cake, like.
Wait, what?
Like, you know, if you go to a birthday party, like one after the other with all your cousins, and then like it's just the same old icing from Safeway.
I guess I can see where you get tired of it. Yeah, I understand that. But
And then like maybe a cupcake. You know what? That's what I like. You know when like somebody brings home a big pan of cupcakes and it's all individually portioned, and then they have the like the really nice cream cheese icing that's not totally just sugar, even though it pretty much is, but it's not as sweet. I like that. Like that is so good. And it's only the little cupcake, so when I take my slice, I'm not taking any more or less than I really want to enjoy, you know?
yeah, it's
It's cake. It's always been cake.
It's always been cake. Just like that space meme. It's always been space.
See,
I love that one. I love the space meme too because it's freaking dumb.
yeah, it's another good one. Well, actually, yeah. To wrap up the cake
It
one,
always has been.
that just goes to show like the cake really is a lie, no matter what it is. And then, yeah, the two astronauts one has been going around too.
I mean, is it really a lie if everything's cake?
So maybe
Everything else
cake
is
is
a
actually
lie.
more of the truth.
Exactly.
So there's actually the truth in everything, and everything just turns out to be cake. That's a moist one.
You know what? But I love the word moist. I was terrorizing somebody with the word moist earlier in BRC. It was great.
Oh, it wasn't Damon this time?
No, it was Discover. I was harassing Discover.
Oh, he doesn't like moist either?
No, I built up to it. So I built up to the reason why he doesn't like moist. It was good.
I like it because the word moist has that power to not only make you hear the sound, but feel it. Moist. Oh, man, like it just got 5 degrees more humid in here.
I apologize to anyone listening to this.
Yeah, we just lost like half of the chat, so it's fine.
It's okay.
No,
They got too moist from this.
yeah. I'm not sorry though. I'm not.
I'm not. Wow.
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah, the space meme.
Yeah, so you have the one astronaut who's taking this global look, or the look at the globe of Earth, and they come to that epiphany where it's like, oh, it's all just there. That's all of us, you know. And then you have the second astronaut with a gun pointed to his head. Always has been. So it's like the truth realized.
I've been using that meme format a little too much. I was messing around with some people.
I like the ass one. That's funny. Where it's just a giant.
Oh yeah, the furry one.
Yeah, there's a giant furry ass, and then it's like, oh, it's all ass. Always has been.
Even.
So,
Speaking of which,
what's that?
Oh yeah, that's what it was on his suit too. The dude had symbols of breasts on his suit, and the other dude had booty on his. If you look closely at the art.
Symbols of breasts and booty? What is this meme?
No, the furry one, the space furry one.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
If you look at the shoulder patches, yeah.
What does that mean, though? I don't get it.
What do you mean?
What does the breasts and the shoulder patches mean?
in the space meme.
Yeah.
He's at ass or tits, babe.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's what it was saying. Are you a
Yeah.
butt or are you a boob kind of
Oh
dude,
my
right?
God.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I was reading into this way
Oh,
differently.
My
I
god.
I thought it was
no.
saying like, oh, everything is just stupid. It's all ass, right? Always has been ass.
No.
I didn't know that.
No. Oh my gosh, you. I love you, but
Okay.
uh
You can be my meme lord. It's fine.
no, I'm not that high enough level to be a meme lord. Nor do I seek to deserve such title.
I'm
Meme
but a meme jester.
To my friend. We're friends stuck in Japan.
Oh my.
He either that or he's meme god.
Whoa.
Title.
That's close to edgelord.
Yeah, he is an edgelord.
Oh damn. He's got two statuses.
Yeah. No, actually, I take back meme god. I'll just give him edgelord.
Oh, that's just a surname.
Yeah. Sir Edgy.
Yeah, Sir Edge a lot. Oh my gosh.
I guess in terms of the striving away from memes but going into news. So there's a couple of and it's probably surging through some of the other news sites too. But so Tesla dropped $3K on their price of vehicles. So if you're trying to look for a nice new Tesla, that might be a time to take a look at that. Just as a heads up. Another one is, and this one's from CNBC. Google announces 100,000 scholarships for online certifications in data analytics, project management, and UX. So, if you're looking into those kind of fields and stuff like that, and maybe you want to look for certification from them, I would keep an eye out from that.
That's really cool of Google. So they just want to enroll more people into, I guess, design and project management type of stuff.
I guess so, yeah. But I think it's just kind of cool to keep an eye on, especially if you're like trying to go into those kind of pathways and get started in those fields.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely link all of the useful articles and whatnot and stupid memes below. So don't worry about that. If you want to check it out, just check in the description below of this episode.
Yeah, and comments if you're an ass or titties person, clearly. No, actually don't, because I think YouTube might be upset with that.
Just use an emoji, an eggplant emoji, or a peach. I think that should be fine.
Yeah, everybody. Well, eggplant is for the other part, though.
Oh, my bad. What? Okay, wait. So if you have, what is good for boobs? I don't know, boobs.
Melon.
Melons.
melon.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
See, that shows how often I use that emoji. What is this one you have posted from? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you finished with the news portion?
Yeah, that was like just kind of, I don't know, I think kind of significant ones, especially in the tech side, where yeah, there's more online certifications presented by Google, and the fact that Tesla is dropping their price down.
I really do like that electric vehicles are you do get some what do you call government benefits while they still offer them as kind of niche cars, I guess, you know, EV cars.
If I remember correctly, Tesla, I don't think it's too much from federal tax cuts. I have to look that one up again. I think theirs is kind of dropped down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because of how many cars they've produced so far.
Yeah.
So I look that one up, but yeah, they still get a lot of benefits from local state stuff, and you can look that up on their website too, like what benefits you get per state.
Yeah, it's also it does vary based on your state, and the one thing that I'm curious about for Hawaii is that if you do own a Model Y, X, or whatever, one of these EVs, the weight is often really high for these cars because of the battery cells in the base of the flooring of the cars, and all the stuff, of course, on top. But for that, what they call the skate, for that panel of batteries, that's what really adds to the weight. So for registration, I wonder what type of like vehicle weight registration we're talking and what you're going to be paying for that.
I mean, it depends, because maybe that's the other incentive too, is that they don't, they might put it under a different bracket or something.
Oh yeah, just because maybe reducing emissions costs. Oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, there'd be something else to look into also.
Definitely. Yeah, I would love to, just on like, I guess anecdotally, like seeing the shift to EVs and seeing more companies take that route is really cool. And I can't wait for level 5 autonomy. That is still kind of a sci-fi wet dream right now, but it's definitely possible with a neural net that's getting as good as Tesla's. So I look forward to that.
Didn't Elon announce that they're like pretty much close to level 5 or some?
Yeah,
like that?
I heard you mention that, but I didn't see anything on it yet. I don't know if you wanted to like link an article or anything about that, but
No, I should have when I saw it.
oh, that's okay. We can get more into that later, or maybe for a future episode. But yeah, wait, they were projecting and within like what sort of time frame of reaching that level?
I saw it in passing. I didn't actually like go through the link.
Ah, shucks. Okay, I would love to cover that sometime though too. As far as I think we have that one more meme in that you just shared in the, what do you call, in our chat. Yeah, what is this one? I'm just gonna open it right now and then see what it is.
Oh yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. I thought you might enjoy it. It's dumb.
Okay, so there's a dude. Did a moose just scare a guy off of his bike?
Yeah, I can't tell if the dude was trying to defend himself by yelling at the moose or what.
Oh wait, I didn't have audio on. Let me just play that again. It's only 10 seconds. Is that the sound a moose makes?
I don't know if that's the sound of the moose or the dude yelling, but either way, it's kind of ridiculous.
I'm gonna look up the sound of a moose right now. Let's get a definitive take on this. Moose sounds. Here we go. Oh my god.
Is it really what?
They sound like some sort of demon. I did not know what.
Really?
They do not sound like anything I would have thought would come from nature. Wow.
That sounds concerning.
Here, you want it? Look, I'll give you the moose sound. Here, check out the moose sound.
Alright. Yeah,
See, this would be something that we wouldn't have to deal with if you weren't overseas right now. But yeah, we'll definitely still be trying to set up the show for when you come back and get things better set up for in-person conversations. Are you listening to the sultry sounds of the moose? I think he is.
It's like a lot of yelling at it. It almost seems like they're just yelling at each other. Like,
But if wow, I guess you could consider it like maybe they're just kind of like lazily yelling. But it sounds like, okay, if you were roaming the forest and you were hunting or whatever, and you weren't hunting for a moose, but you heard that call, would you not totally like, book it?
I mean, it depends. How close is that fucker?
I don't know, but you know what? I'm not a fan of slow approaching noises.
Yeah. Neither am a fan of fast approaching noises either.
Yeah, if something's like, I don't like that like kind of thick thumping sound, and it goes like dum, 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 and it's just building up that pace, and it's like, oh god, I gotta get out of here.
But that's what the good time. That's where the good times roll.
That reminds me of that other meme where it's like, run, dun 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 dun. It's that slow silence to the drop. Yeah. But that's
right before the reckoning.
Yeah, of that booty. That's all I had for today's show, really. Wow. Oh shoot, I wasn't even paying attention to the record time. We just passed an hour. I hope that was okay. It seems like you know what? First starting off with the episode, I was really down. And I was like, man, I don't know if today would be a good day to do this, but like freaking just talking about stuff happening sometimes really does help, and not focusing on just like all of the really like crappy stuff going on. Just it's too much at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you want to call it now, babe?
That's up to you.
Well, you know what? I got my tea and I feel better. So I think yeah, I think that's been a show, guys. I hope you guys take care. I've been your host, Theo.
And I've been the co-host, the grand old Blargo.
We're the same age, babe.
I'm never mind. I'm okay.
Well, actually, no. It was recently your birthday. And you're 26 now, so that makes me almost 26. I'm not 26 yet.
Almost and 26 are two different things, so.
Wow. Okay. I guess. But does 3 months make you grand and wise? I guess that makes you wiser than me anyway.
I mean, that makes you grand and wise by like 3 months, but that's not really much of a difference, now is it?
I will wait 3 months and then I'll be as wise as you are now, babe.
I mean, I guess it's not any better.
Shower me with your wisdom. Or I could just use a hug. That would be nice.
Yeah, hugs are good too. So is cake. It's always been about the cake, babe. It's always been about the cake.
You can't get away from it. Cake is life. Cake is truth.
Yeah, cake is no longer a lie. It's truth. You cut into anything, it's cake. It's the truth.
It's a piece of cake. Okay, I think that was my last brain cell. We'll see you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, starting with the patron pups, Adrian Eves, Ben Campbell, Damian Adam, Knock82562, Codavir, Michael Draws, Roadwuff, The Pieman78, and Tyler Green. Next up, we have the official Good Boy supporters, Archon Inu, Bryce, Francis Booth, Howler, Jason, and OK Dougal. And thank you so much and much love to my top dog patrons, starting with Artorius Nightwalker, Barky, Damon, Ella Ryra, Ferris, Hattie, Jay Wolf, and Yodu Pandawolf. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me, and if you want to check out more of my content and see what I'm up to, you can check out my Twitter at Shikokubo or my FA, where I post a lot of my work, at Shikokubo.